Hi everyone, it's Kamila. I hope you're all having a great day. If you're new here on the channel, we mostly do speed build, and today I'm super excited to present to you my second biggest project I've ever made on my channel. So back in March, I organized with a group of simmer friends a very big group collab, and we posted speed builds and stop motion videos on Earth Day, and the goal was to kind of bring awareness to that very cool day that is the Earth Day. So we all did a build related to the environment and everything, and I had a lot of fun organizing this. So I knew I wanted to do another group collab one day, but I wasn't really sure of the theme I wanted. I didn't want to do a collab just to do a collab. I wanted to have a good idea. So I thought of it for a pretty long time, and I thought I really love Christmas, so why not something related to it? But at the same time, I didn't really know if it was a good idea because I know some people just don't really celebrate Christmas. It depends on where you live in the world and a lot of different stuff. So I thought, what reminds me of Christmas? And the answer was tales, stories, legends, and all that kind of stuff. So I got the idea to invite a lot of other simmers, and everyone could do a build related to a story, a tale, a legend, and it could be a story that people imagined or a story that already exists. And I had very specific people in mind, so I invited all of them, and we are 12. So everyone made a speed build with a voiceover on their channel, and you will be able to find all the videos in the playlist in the description of our videos, so don't hesitate to check that out. There's also going to be a Google Docs where you will be able to have all the links to our YouTube channels and all of our other social medias, so it's going to be pretty easy for you to find the other videos and the other participants of the collab. And I can assure you everyone is super talented, so I really hope you will enjoy this project. We worked very hard on it, and not only you will be able to see super incredible and amazing builds, but you will also get to hear very cool stories that some of us imagined or adapted. Now, we're not all posting at the exact same time, so if you see my video right now, maybe all the videos won't be posted yet, but we're all posting on December 4th. It's just that we're not living in the same country, and because we all have a different time zone, I didn't want to be too strict or to make it difficult for some of us. So you will be able to have all the videos today, but not necessarily right now. You will also notice that we all have the same logo on our thumbnails. So it's a very cool logo that my friend Chrissy made, and it's purple, so you will be able to see which video is in the collab very easily, even if you're not looking at the title. So thanks again, Chrissy, for your help with the collab. And I'm finally going to start explaining my story. So some of you may already know, but I'm really into reading and writing stories. My favorites are the fantasy ones or sci-fi ones. So my mom used to buy me some fantasy books when I was younger, and in there was some legends, tales, creatures, and a ton of infos like these. So when I started to brainstorm for this collab, I thought I could go back to these books to find some inspiration. And I found a creature called the Barbagadzi, which is sort of a dwarf, and they are very little creatures with a human appearance and really big foot. So I'll try to put a picture on the screen so you can see what they look like, but they're dressed with white fur and there's ice hanging at their mustache. So I think they're really cute and funny. I really wanted to include them, and I thought it was a cool idea. The legend is well known in France and Swiss because there's a lot of mountains there and they are living on the mountains. The legend says they can ski only with their foot since they're really big and they're spending their days doing that. It's also hard for Barbagadzis to find food because of their small height. They can't really hunt, and because of the extreme temperatures, there's not that much fruits or some things similar to this. They don't really need much to be happy though, just to ski. And apparently they're also protecting humans going on the mountains, so they can warn them when there's danger or even save them from avalanches. So the story, I imagine, is based around this legend, and it happened years before in a snowy kingdom, just like this one. There, humans knew the Barbagadzis existed, but they didn't really know who they were and if they were dangerous or if they had good intentions. So, since the governor of the kingdom didn't really know them, he was pretty cautious and he simply didn't like them without a good reason, but still. And he told his subjects they were dangerous and that they shouldn't approach them. So both people didn't really appreciate each other, so their relation wasn't really the best. But the good news are the Barbagadzis are living under the ground and are very hard to see because they're just as white as the snow. So therefore they wouldn't really see each other really often. And the governor and his wife only had one girl which would become the leader of the kingdom. Her name was Maria, and she had to learn everything she would need to become a good governor herself. And she was taking a lot of lessons with the governess or housekeeper, depending on how you like to call her. She learned how to play violin, piano, how to sing, how to paint, and even more. She basically had to be perfect. She didn't have a lot of time for herself, like basically in all of the princess stories. And what her parents didn't know was that at 14 years old, she started to go out of the manor at night. And with a sledge she found in the village, she would sled and have a lot of fun during night. So the thing is, the mountains were pretty dangerous close to the manor, which was one of the reasons why she didn't have the right to go alone. But one night there was an avalanche and she just couldn't escape it. So in the morning, the housekeeper went to wake up Maria for her lessons and didn't find her. It was the panic in the kingdom, and the governor left the manor with some guards to find his daughter, and they met some Barbagadzis. The father was really surprised to see they carried her daughter in a sledge. And when Maria saw her father, she explained what happened before he could imagine the Barbagadzis did something wrong to her or anything like that. So she explained to her father that they saved her. They saw what happened, so they knew she was under the snow and they shoveled all of it, and then they decided to bring her back at her home. So the governor was extremely grateful and decided to thank their mountain neighbors. So Maria and her father started to bring food in their caves every week, and they even brought them other stuff like books, more blankets. And since that day, the villagers in the kingdom and the Barbagadzis have very good relations, and everything ended up fine. So I really loved the legend of the Barbagadzis when I saw it, and I thought the story I had in mind was pretty simple but really cute, so I still really wanted to do it. I had a lot of trouble with the build. My first idea was to do just a Barbagadzis village, but I didn't like the way it looked, so the second thing I tried was to do a humans village on the top of the mountain and then a bigger village underground for the Barbagadzis. Then I didn't like that either, so I thought of a more detailed story, and that's when the princess or the daughter of the governor arrived in my mind. So I decided to do kind of a castle, or I would more call it a manor since it's not that big. And then there was 3 other versions of the manor before we got to this one, and another version of the village. So yeah, it took a lot of time to do this build because I was so indecisive and very hard on myself, but it always happens when I'm doing group collabs. And the fourth thing I did was that I changed all the color scheme of the castle and the village. So you probably saw at the beginning that I was going for a brown color scheme with the windows, but I thought it looked better with gray and white. It fits a lot with the mountains and the snow, of course, so there's not that much contrast, but I really like it that way, so that's what I decided to go for. And at first I was on a 64 by 64, but honestly, I thought it looked better on a 50 by 50 because every little house was more close to each other, and same for the castle or manor. So I don't know why exactly, it was just better looking in my opinion. And I also added crystals from base game and jungle adventure, and I thought it made the build instantly look better and more interesting. So if you don't know exactly which pack they are from, the more turquoise one, I feel like they are with jungle adventure, I'm almost sure, and the ones that are more blue and pale are from base game, and I think they're probably in the debug menu. Now I just want to do a quick presentation of myself in case some people are here for the first time. I've been doing speed builds since February, and I really enjoy working and spending some time on my channel. It's really fun. It's something that I wanted to do for 2 or 3 years before I finally got to start. At first I had a lot of different technical issues, so I was never able to get a video out, but I finally was able to. So it's been almost a year since I started doing my videos, and I don't regret it. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. So if you like speed builds, I'm doing a ton of different stuff. I can do some suburban houses sometimes, apartment renovations, but I also really like bigger builds that are more niche, I guess. So once I build a cyberpunk city, sometimes I'm building some space stations, some things like that that are a little more weird, but basically I'm building pretty much everything that I feel like doing. And you can see some playlists on my channel. I have the Around the World playlist where I'm building some things that are inspired by some regions in the world, like Japan or San Francisco, for example. And I also have a playlist for restricted packs builds. I'm French Canadian, so that explains the pretty strong accent you're hearing, but all my videos are in English. So that's pretty much the important things that I wanted to share with you, if that makes sense. But I'm going to talk about the Manor more specifically. So right now we are doing the master bedroom, so the bedroom of the two parents, and they have their own ensuite bathroom. We have 5 bathrooms and 5 bedrooms in the house. So the girl has her own bathroom too. And there's also a bathroom that is in the middle of 2 guest rooms. And then at the 3rd floor, the last one, we have a pretty small bedroom for the housekeeper, and she also has her own bathroom. So that already does 4 bathrooms, and we have another one that is at the 1st floor for everyone to use. And you probably saw outside, but there's 2 sections to the manor, I guess, that are separated by a very big bridge. But basically the other section you will see later on, but it's where the princess's bedroom is, with her own office and her own bathroom. And there's also a very big living room that is where they receive people, I guess. There's a piano, a very big library, and I also put a Christmas tree there. I thought it was cute. And of course, in the biggest division of the castle, you have every room that is important. So the living room, dining room, kitchen, and all the bedrooms, of course. And there's also a very small tower at the front of the 1st division that is separated with another bridge. There you already saw it, but there's 2 offices, one for the mother and one for the father, because they have very important business to take care of since they're the governors of the village. So as you can see, this style is pretty ancient. I don't think it's necessarily in medieval because we have some showers and the water. So it's not that old, but it's not in the modern times either. So I don't know exactly at what time, but you can pretty much decide what you prefer. That's why I decided not to do a very big castle, because there's electricity. I used like some basic lights. It's not in medieval times. I don't think we have that much objects that would work. Not for me at least. I know some people are doing castles and everything, but it's not the thing I would enjoy the most. And I still wanted it to be very functional, so that's why there's some water and showers. It's not that old. As you can see here, we are doing the very big living room I was talking about. So you access it by the bridge, and then you have a staircase to go there, because when you go on the bridge, you will arrive at the level where the princess's bedroom is, but there's going to be a little corridor, so you won't be directly in the princess bedroom. So as I said, a pretty big library. There's also a bar, so they can have a lot of guests there. It's a very big space. I went with a very basic color scheme throughout the house. So you have this brown flooring from vampires, and I also used sometimes the wallpapers from vampires that are more beige and brown, but I also used this one from Parenthood that is just white. I think it looked great for some rooms like the princess bedroom, and I'm saying princess, but it's not really a princess. It's not royalty, they're just the governors of the village, so it's not really the same as a king or a queen or a princess, but it's just the first word that is coming to my mind. And for the village, I have 3 tiny houses, and they're very tiny. It's just 3 by 3 squares or 4 by 4, probably 4 by 4, and then we have some chimneys to add a little bit of space, but they have everything they need there. So a little bathroom with a bath, a sink, well, not a bath, but a shower. So a sink, a shower, and a toilet. And they also have a full kitchen and a bed. So there's nothing more than that. There's not that much space, but you have 3 little tiny houses. And I only furnished one on cam. I didn't want the video to be too long, and also they're pretty similar. They look kind of the same. The beds are different, but other than that, I used the same furniture, and I don't necessarily consider it that interesting. And right now we are doing the princess place. So we have an office, as I said. I included an easel and a violin since I thought she would have learned that, and she really loves plants, so there's a lot of flowers in her office. I think it looks really great. It's probably one of my favorite rooms in the castle. She also has a lot of different chests where she puts her stuff. And at the next level of the tower, the last level, you will have her bedroom. So she just has to climb the little ladder. So as I said, I didn't include the footage of all the tiny houses, nor all the bathrooms in the house, since there's 5 of them and they're all the same pretty much. So you won't see all of them, and you won't see all the bedrooms in the underground part of the build, because if you didn't notice at the little sneak peek at the beginning of the video, not only there's a castle and a little village, but there's also an underground part. So there's a big hole in the ground outside, and there's a ladder there too, and you can access the caves. There's 5 bedrooms if I'm not mistaken. They're pretty simple, and there's not that much furniture because, as I said, the Barbagadzies don't need much to be happy. But yeah, you can have Sims living there. They have a kitchen that is separated from the bedrooms, and there's very long corridors in order to access the different bedrooms. So I truly hope you will like that section of the build too. As I said, there's not that much details, but I thought it was the perfect way to do it. I was very surprised with the length of the video, so yeah, I cut a lot. I didn't think I would arrive to 26 minutes. At first I was at 35, but it was too much in my opinion, so I wanted to cut a little. That's why I didn't record all the tiny houses and all the bedrooms in the dwarf's house or Barbagadzie's house. I also didn't record the part where I was choosing the color scheme of the manor. I kind of needed some time off cam, I guess, when I wasn't recording in order to think about it a little more. As I said, I had a lot of versions of this build, so I really wanted to think about it without having the pressure of doing it a little fast for the recording. So sorry about that, but it's a pretty simple color scheme, honestly. You just have the rocks from Realm of Magic and Discover University. That's pretty much it. It's all in stone, so the walls are pretty much all the same. This build is probably one of the builds that I spent the most time on, and it's not even because it's a very big build. Well, it's a big one, but not that much. It's just because of my indecision, as I said at the beginning. So I gotta admit, I'm looking forward to do something else in The Sims. I probably spent more than 15 hours on it, so I can't wait to present to you other projects. But I hope you will like it as much as I do. Everything is playable, so I made sure that you can have Sims living underground, but also in the manor and in the tiny houses. The only thing that isn't 100% playable is that I didn't include toilets underground. I felt like it was breaking a little the realistic part I wanted. I don't think Barbagatsis have toilets and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I didn't include that, but other than that, everything is okay, and you have everything you need in the tiny houses, for example. But the screenshots are pretty soon, so I'm just going to remind you to check our playlist. There's a lot of amazing builds. All the builds are amazing, so that leaves us with 12 amazing builds. I really hope you will check them out. You will also be able to hear some very cool stories and maybe even find some simmers that you never heard of, but that are all very talented. So I want to say thank you to Chrissy, Eva Rodke, Miss Unfortunate, Tommy Lynn, Aaron with a Y, Phantasims, Julia Builds, Jess Arts, Carrie Sims, Mac by Cliff, and the Sims stream for participating in the collab. Without them, it wouldn't have been possible, and it was a pleasure to work with all of them. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This project means a lot to me. So if you liked this build and this video, don't hesitate to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. You can also download this build on the gallery. My ID is KamilaYtb, and you can follow me on social medias. All the links will be down in the description. So thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all an amazing day. Bye!
tears you dry. Do you know I'm looking, and I can't help but smile? Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put